Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I rise to support the Repeal Net Zero Bill 2025 presented by my colleague, the member for New England, at the last sitting. Now, unfortunately, this bill has revolved around an argument of whether you believe in climate change or if you don't believe in net zero, you don't believe in climate change. So I want to put that to bed right now. Climate change is real. Climate change is happening right now. Climate change is variable, and the Earth's geological history tells us that. The Earth's climate has been changing ever since the Earth began on Thursday afternoon 4.54 billion years ago. So this debate is not about whether you believe in climate change. This is about the economic cost of getting to a position of net zero by 2050. Now, we know the government has implemented emissions targets, 43% by 2030, 82% renewable energy by 2030. And what we want to know, with my colleagues here, is how much will this cost in terms of economics to the Australian people? How much will it affect their futures and their prosperity? Now, the Institute of Public Affairs has issued a report recently that has said the Central Queensland federal electorate of Flynn, which I represent, will be the most affected. There are upwards of 16,000 jobs at risk in the mining and resource sector, the agricultural sector, the transport sector and the heavy industries sector particularly, if we continue to go down this road of net zero. Now, in the electorate of Flynn, there are 90 projects, wind turbines, solar panels, transmission lines, batteries, all of those associated things that are happening. And there's a problem there in terms of economics, because many of these projects have got their environmental approvals, or if they haven't, they're in process of doing that. But most of them do not have financial closure. And there's a reason for that, a couple of reasons. And one of them is that the proponents cannot guarantee a minimum net return for the people who are investing. So, for an example, if there's $1 billion project, and there are plenty of them, the investors are looking for something like a 10% net return per year. So 10% of $1 billion is $100 million a year. And the problem for the proponents and for the government is that they cannot guarantee that return. And the reason for that is that the weather is variable. You cannot guarantee electricity generation through wind turbines and solar panels, because sometimes the wind doesn't blow and sometimes the sun doesn't shine. So they've got a problem. And how the government has gone about approaching that problem, they've invented a thing called the Capacity Investment Scheme, which most people have got no idea what it means. In a nutshell, the Capacity Investment Scheme will be asking the Australian taxpayer to underwrite the minimum profitability of these projects, whether they produce energy or not. Now, in my quest to find out answers on how much this will cost the Australian economy, I've engaged the Parliamentary Library, and they have written an extensive brief for me, and here it is here, and done a wonderful job. Now, one of the questions I asked them was, what is the cost and budget implications? What is the total estimated cost of the scheme? How will it be funded? What is shown in forward estimates? And are there any off-balance sheet liabilities and contingency guarantees? Now, the Parliamentary Library answered that question as best they could, and I will quote from what they've said. The government's maximum liability, i.e. the expected cost of CIS and estimated payments under the CISAs, are classified in the budget and not for publication due to commercial sensitivities. Well, there is no answer. The government will not tell us what they are committing the Australian public to, and indeed the taxpayer. How much will this cost to actually implement this capacity investment scheme? Now, further to that, Deputy Speaker, the Parliamentary Library, one of the questions I asked was who was eligible for this, what projects are eligible and so forth. And I've learnt that battery projects are now eligible under the CIS scheme.
Member for